I'm Scott Vatcher, the host of Questioning Authority, where I question authority figures about health, wealth, and relationships. This episode is brought to you by theauthorityco.com, helping health professionals be seen as the go-to authority in their community. I hope you enjoy this episode. Welcome to the Questioning Authority podcast. I'm your host, Scott Vatcher, and I'm here questioning authority figures in health, business, and relationships to fulfill a long-lost desire of many of you out there to achieve greater authority, success, and fulfillment, both in your business and in your life. I've got a great guest here with me today, Jake Hansen. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Scott, man, it is great to be on your show. We had you on our show, quite a while ago. And to see where you have come, where your book has gone, it is absolutely incredible to see your success. Success breeds success. Proximity breeds success. I love being close to those who are successful, and to see you grow is absolutely incredible, man. I couldn't be more happy for you and to see your momentum. Congrats.
Yeah, thanks for that. And I could say the same thing for you, looking into your background a little bit more, for me now being the host instead of the interviewer. Successful dude, man. I love your trajectory. And a big thing about that is creating a team atmosphere, right? You can't get there by yourself. Teamwork is crucial to it. So let's get into it. I want people to get the best bang for their buck in this show. Let's talk about team building. I know you have a fantastic team. How do you go about that, and why is it so important?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the only way to really grow to high levels is to grow exponentially. Doing things by yourself is linear growth, right? You can only go as fast as you can run yourself. Having a team member immediately multiplies exactly what you can do. There's a lot of docs, there's a lot of health professionals out there who say, hey, there's no one like me. You're absolutely right. There is no one like you. But can you find 4 people that are like you at 20%, right? Can you find 10 people like you at 10%? So that you can then exponentially grow your vision. So, having the right team is critical. We also very strongly believe in my businesses in hiring people, not roles. So I will look around, and when someone is incredible, I'll say, oh my gosh, you would be incredible at this particular thing in my practice. This is what you lead. This is what you live. This is what you breathe. This is what you would wake up to do. I ask each of my employees, if you could pay to do something the rest of your life, what would it be? Right? Would you pay to do this? Would you pay to do that? I have a lady, she goes, I love numbers so much. I would pay to work with numbers, especially at this type of a level. I'm like, that's incredible. Guess who's doing all my numbers, right? So we bring in people, not roles, in my practice, and then we train them accordingly. And the biggest thing in our practice and in all of our other businesses, it's so important. So many doctors, so many business owners, entrepreneurs, they say, man, I'm so angry. Like I was the first one there, the last one there. How come no one has my tenacity? Well, it's because you're the owner, right? You're the owner. Have you ever asked the question, how can I understand their vision better? Because if you expect them to understand your vision, why do you not understand their vision? You have to understand their vision. So we know the goals of our team members. We know what they want. We know where they want to be. We know who they are. We know what they like. We reward our team members with what they love. I'm a bacon connoisseur, Scott. I love bacon. I would reward with bacon all day long, but that doesn't motivate everybody, especially some of my vegetarian team members, right? And so I had to ask them, what is it that motivates you? Hey, if you wanted to relax, what would you do to relax? If you wanted to chill out, if you wanted to celebrate, and I reward them with each of these things. My clinic director is a sports nut. So we're from Colorado. He loves all Colorado teams, grew up in Colorado. So what do I reward him with? Unique once-in-a-lifetime opportunities with his favorite players, with his favorite teams, dining with them, eating with them, going to games, front row seats, things like that. So you got to understand, once you bring on a rockstar team member, once you brought on the right person for the right role, and you get to understand who they are, and they understand that you're going to put their needs first, they are going to fight tooth and nail for you. I have the most loyal team members on this planet, but we painstakingly seek them out, and we love on them fiercely, and they love on us in return. And thus our patient experience our practice experience is through the roof.
A lot to digest there. I can guarantee you a couple of people, more than a couple of people who are listening to this are like, yeah, that sounds great. You got the best staff, but my staff suck. Or, so how do you go about it? It's a huge thing in our industry, isn't it, to find that right staff? And a lot of us have had trouble with that and have probably the wrong staff. There's that old saying is hire slow, fire fast. Where would you go with that with somebody who's listening to this and going, okay, I am struggling. My staff is not on the same page. Big picture is what you just described, but let's get down to the granular, the nitty gritty of what can people do right now to make a difference or make a change with either the staff that they have or knowing that it's time to move them on.
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, we've done the studies and we know when it comes to your staff, I mean, there's going to be different roles, right? There are certain people who are going to be, doing billing. Certain people are going to be doing scheduling. You want to be sure that you look for the right people. So I have people that are in front of my patients, but they are people. They're very extroverted. I find all of them in the hospitality industry. So I found my office manager. She was one of the head honchos over at Chick-fil-A. And we took my son over there for his birthday, and I was looking. And I said, hey, we're going to be neighbors. We're right across the street. And she goes, oh, my gosh, are you hiring? I thought she was joking. I said, you've got an incredible role here. She goes, no, my husband, he's the director. I'm kind of the second in command here. But this isn't my dream. My dream is healthcare. My dream is diet. My dream is this. And I'm here to support my husband, but this isn't my dream. And I thought, oh, my gosh. And so we ended up talking. We ended up hiring her as my first CA. And then she became our office manager, and she is through the roof insane. She's so talented. But I find a lot of my team members in the hospitality industry. You'll find them in hotels. You'll find them in restaurants. Nurses. We have a sonographer, an ultrasound tech, she has the gift of gab. She can communicate, but she wasn't happy since COVID with her current job, and the hospital got bought out by another hospital, and their core values changed. And so she goes, wow, that doesn't align with what I believe. So that's where I find a lot of them. I have found several team members within my own practice. I would talk to my team and I said, who lights you up every day? What patients do you have that come in that light you up? They're like, oh my gosh, Kathy's incredible. Brenna's incredible. Lauren's incredible. Betsy's incredible. And we ask them, hey, Betsy. So I have a patient concierge right now. She writes letters to our practice members. She researches who they are. And I said, hey, you're an ultrasound tech. You're an X-ray tech. But man, I would love to have you on my team. You can communicate so wisely. You research who people are. You're always giving the most beautiful gifts and notes and letters. And she's like, funny you should ask, or funny you should say that. I actually am looking. And she took a major pay decrease, but we're seeking out people, not roles. So I find within my practice, the other thing too is when we start advertising, we have several social media channels. We have several social media groups. So look in your town, Doc. We have several groups in our town. So we're in the town of Castle Rock, Colorado. There's about 7 different groups in Castle Rock, Colorado that have anywhere from a couple hundred to 20,000 people or more. And we'll post there. But what we post first is we post and say, these are the core values of our team at Restoration Chiropractic. Here's what we believe. Here's what we live. If this sounds like this is you, come talk to us. And can I tell you how many people said, I can't even tell you that was me. Man, that core value, that was so me. You guys believe that thing in your practice? I said, yeah, tell me more about who you are. Because again, specifically, there's always a role I'm looking to fill. But what we try to do is we try to cram these people into these roles, and it's not the right role. And you'll see that very quickly. They're not getting it. They flounder. They don't thrive because we have the wrong person in the wrong seat. So hire off of your core values. Look in the hospitality industry and look within your practice and look within your town. Ask around. Hey, who loves health? Who loves healthcare? Who has that gift of gab? Who can communicate? I ask a bunch of questions in there. And the biggest problem we usually have is having too many of amazing people to choose from. It's
good
been
problem
incredible.
to have. Good problem to have.
Great problem to have. Great problem. Yeah.
So in summary, I'm like, what I take from this is that some things that might help other healthcare practitioners is look in the right places. Don't just put your ad out on what we call Seek over here. I don't know what it would
And
be.
yeah, Indeed and Monster and oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's one avenue, but I've never found anyone great off those. I have done the opposite thing, or similar to what you've done, looking in the right places, looking in the hospitality industry if that's the type of person, hiring the right person, not the role. Although the role needs to be filled, looking for the right person first, and these community groups. And not only for that, the community groups are great because then people remember that. And then, when they might need a chiropractor, as an example, you're in those groups and you're not just in there doing your ads. You're not just like advertising yourself, although you are marketing by just creating a message out to people.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the same way how I find my doctors. I know every single doctor in my town. I take them to lunch. I get to know who they are. I refer them patients. I refer patients to other chiropractors. Isn't that crazy, Scott?
What?
Or physical therapists or MDs or naturopaths or, whoever it may be. I refer like crazy because I want to be sure that my patient is seeing the right doc. And I can't tell you how many docs say, hey, are you hiring? I found my clinic director. He was an independent contractor for another doc. And the other doc said, listen, this kid has talent. He is a good doctor. Holy cow. I haven't seen talent like this in years. But man, he's struggling on the business side and he's an independent contractor. So I kind of have, kind of a barrier I can't cross. Like, hey, let's talk and communicate. So we started talking to each other, started adjusting each other. And he'd come to my practice. I go to his practice. And then eventually he's like, hey, can we just adjust in your practice? I love the feel of your place. I love the style of your place. And then when I started reaching out, because I had reached out to so many doctors and I said, hey, I'm hiring. Guess who the first ones were in line to knock on my door? Well, he was number one. And I had 4 other doctors in my town say, hey, I would seriously love to put my hat in the ring here. I would love, I'm willing to either sell my practice or leave my practice. I love what you have and I would love to communicate. And he ended up being the absolute best fit. But I found him intentionally. I wanted to give back to other doctors. But there's a law, the compounding effect of action law. It's better to do something 2 minutes a day than 2 hours on a Saturday. Once or twice a week, I reach out to chiropractors in my town and just ask, hey, how you doing, man? You doing all right? You doing good? You happy? You healthy? You thriving? What can I do to help you? It's a 2 to 3 minute phone call or a text or a voicemail. And so that when someone is struggling, I get the phone call. So when I need someone, I can hire local. I can hire very quickly within my own walls. And same thing goes for my other businesses. I do a lot of remote work as well. And so I have other doctors. I have a few great remote working companies, virtual companies that I work with that find, I have video editors. I have, content creators that do all my stuff.
Fantastic. Let's switch gears now. That if you've created a great team, now the next level is to create a fantastic experience for your clients.
Yes.
You do a lot of really cool things when it comes to that. And one of them, as I was looking through, stalking you on your social media to have a look to see what you're up to more recently, I want to, take a little bit of a deeper dive for the listeners to see how an event can just dramatically impact your business and your whole community. So what is it called again? Women's Indulgence Night?
Yeah. So we're doing the ladies' Night of Indulgence this Saturday.
Yeah. Just fill docs in. Like, what is that? I think you said you've got 100 or 200 people signed up. If you want to change your practice quickly, what an incredible way to do that. So fill us in. What is that?
Yeah. So we firmly believe in giving our patients a world-class experience at our office specifically. And so one of the things that we do is, so whenever we do an event, the event number one is to love on the people who are already there. A lot of docs make that mistake is once they're there, they forget about them. I have a client I coach who just talked to me today and he's like, yeah, man, I had this lady, she wrote me like a 1-page letter front and back about why I don't pay attention to her. The first visit and second visit was great. And I just completely forgot about her. And he's like, and I could see where probably that could have been perceived, right? So we love on the people who are already there. We ask our patients, if you were to go somewhere, what would you go to do? Like on a Friday night, on a Saturday night, we ask them, A lot of docs try to create what they think is cool. Now, you do want to align with what you think is awesome, but why not ask your clients? Why not ask your patients? Hey, what would you pay to do this weekend? If you had a ladies' night, what would you like to see? So then everything that they said, oh, I would love to get this done, this done, this done. That's how we created the ladies' Night of Indulgence. And I've done this for over 11 years now, and it's only gotten better. So right now we have about 80 women RSVP'd with 150 that are interested in coming. And so it's going to be a massive event. So we're going to love on the patients who are already there. 2, we have referral partners. We have people that we trust, that we do a lot of our business with, that we refer our practice members to. And then 3, it's to bring in new practice members. So this event is going to be awesome. So we're going to be having all of our vendors. So we have one of the most exclusive spa and tanning salons in town is coming in with a tanning booth. They're going to be doing like face tans for the ladies. We have our town's most premier hairstylist. They're going to be putting in tinsel in the ladies' hair, and then offering them, ways to go in to get into their business. We have gourmet charcuterie boards. We have this lady that literally, her art is all over Instagram. She makes these charcuterie boards that you don't want to even touch because they're so gorgeous. She has like 10 feet of table that's going to be laid out with food. We have the most gourmet chocolate coming into it. We have beauty counter skin experts coming into it. We have 4 massage therapists coming into it. And then we have 3 doctors that are going to be doing spinal screenings. We have about $7,000 in raffles given from our referral partners. And so the whole night will probably cost us about $700, give or take when all is said and done. But if we're talking just the business side of things, we'll make between $70,000 and $100,000 just from that event alone, directly, and then indirectly probably another $100,000 as the next year goes by from referrals and things like that. So you love on your people who are there, love on them, ask them what they want to do, and give them what they want. It's an incredible thing. We ask people all the time, hey, how do I find my referral partners? We'd say, we'd put a little note up on the whiteboard, like, hey, where do you get your hair done? Hey, where do you get, and I would ask questions that more of our high net worth individuals would want to answer. Like, hey, where is the best place in town to get your hair coloring and to get this or this done? Hey, where do you get, a Mercedes, a BMW, a da-da-da service? Where do you do this? Where do you do that? So we found incredible referral partners that refer to us like crazy. We give back to them. I have a waiting list to get into my events, a major waiting list of people who want to get in, but I literally only have so much. We have a men's night of guns and bacon, and it is awesome. We literally have about 30 pounds of bacon. We have pork roast. We have rump roast. We had 400 wings. We had 400 jalapeno bacon poppers. We had a gun company come in, bring in guns. We had a tailored suit company. Actually, one of my jackets from Inherent, Taylor Draper here in Inherent. He did custom suit fittings. We had a men's health company come in and do testosterone checks, free blood work for everybody. I mean, and again, and they said we made about $100,000 from that event. So who wants to come to all my events? The people that I make money for. So who refers to me constantly? Those guys and those ladies. So we love our events. It's super fun. There's a lot of energy that goes into creating them, but the exponential growth that comes outside of that for our patients, for our referral partners, and bringing in new clients, it's a super effective way. It's one of our marketing verticals that we have that just creates an incredible patient experience here in town. If you ask anyone on social media, they call us the Cheers of chiropractic. They're like, oh yeah, that Restoration Chiropractic, they're the Cheers Chiropractic. Everyone knows those guys. They're incredible. Everyone knows their name. There's the who. They're the who's who. Not only will you see results there, but they are the place that everyone knows. Everyone recommends us for that reason. It's an incredible thing, and our events help drive.
Yeah, I mean, you package a whole bunch of things together when you do an event like that, don't you? So you get referral partners, you get free stuff, you really, again, from a business point of view, retention from current clients, but then you get a huge influx in not only marketing of awareness, but then actual new patients in the door. So I was going to ask the question, and you've already sort of alluded to it, but Because I know some of the listeners are thinking like an event like that sounds huge, and I don't really know where I would fit in. Like, how would I, as a chiropractor, get a hair salon and a spray tan, and how do I fit in that? But you kind of answered it. But so you have some docs there who are, for the people who want it, have a spinal screen. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes. So it's as simple as that. You don't have to get up and necessarily talk about chiropractic and think, oh, I'm just going to bore these women who came here to, have a night of indulgence. I don't want to bore them. But, they're there and they're looking for health as well. So if you can get that message across, then that's a perfect place to market.
It is. So we have about 6 sign-up sheets when the ladies walk in. Hey, sign up for your massage, sign up for your hair tinseling, sign up for your spray tan, sign up for your spine check. And that's how we call it. Over the many, many, many years, Scott, we've looked at spinal exam, we've looked at all these things. We call it a spine check because a lot of people are like, oh, it's not threatening. And so we'll probably check 70, 80 people's spines that night. And we'll have at least 35 to 45 women who sign up that say, yep, I'm in. I want to come in. I want to come in for that next step. And from that, and that's direct. Indirectly, we consistently have women who consistently reach out and say, hey, remember me? I was from that night. Yeah, I couldn't come in, but it's time for me. We have a nurturing campaign where we still keep in touch with women at future events. We're like, hey, if you like this event, we'd love to have you down for more events. We have women who come to a few events and then eventually come in for care. Or we have a few ladies who have never come to our practice but refer to us like crazy. So because of that, I created, and this would be a 4 podcasts and a half, but I created a 1099 independent contracting program where I have a team of agents who represent me and my office who are raving fans of my office. And I created a legal structure so when someone is referring like crazy, either if typically they're usually patients or our referral partners, but I can give them a percentage of whoever they referred in to me, whatever plan they sign up for. I can legally give them a percentage because in Colorado we can only give a $50 thank you, bouquet of flowers, a gift card, things like that. But we created a way to really say thank you. We have a massage therapist that makes $2 or $3 grand a month off of just referrals that we give her. We have a couple that makes about $4 grand a month from the referrals that they send us. So we have a few ladies from the event that became independent contractors. They did multi-level marketing. They're not patients, but man, they refer like crazy to us. So it's endless. It's that whole thought. You get what you focus on. I believe in that so firmly. You find what you look for. When you're looking for success, when you're looking for ways to grow and to create a better experience for your team, for your patients, you're going to find it. And that's how, man, I said, well, we have a lot of people that didn't come in here, but I can still utilize them and bless their lives while they bless our life. But yeah, that's one of the ways that we grow the practice through the events.
Just for myself, and I'm sure some people listening, very briefly, what's a 1099?
So 1099 is an independent contractor here in the U.S. So as a 1099 contractor, you are not an employee; you are your own boss. And so a lot of chiropractors will become a 1099. They'll go work in another chiropractor's office, but they won't. They're not employees of their own. They run their own business. They're basically kind of just renting space, so to speak. They're their own entity. And so we have people that create their own entities to become agents of restoration chiropractic. In my practice, and it's absolutely incredible.
I've never heard of that before. That's such an interesting concept to.
Well, it's I got so my mentor Sean Dill Lacey Book had come up with a concept, and as I really dove into it, I said, I'm kind of already doing this, but I've wanted to create because I do this with my referral partners. But man, I really want to create this for all my patients. So I got a business attorney. I had to look to see, is it legal? What could I do? We looked at all the ins and outs, HIPAA laws, everything in Colorado. There are some states where you can't. Texas has some iffy things with it. So you have to consult with a business attorney. But I have the infrastructure to do it. But yeah, thanks to them, I was able to then implement it and create it. And now it's a massive way that we grow our business.
Yeah, absolutely. Because saying thank you is one thing, but when they actually see it is truly another when it comes to continue to refer. And as we know, referrals are one of the best clients that we can have, which is fantastic. Another way to grow a practice is through speaking. And I know, you have is it a keynote speaking company or training?
Yeah, so I do. So through my other group, through the Chiropractor's Edge, and then through the Abundant Mind, I do different types of speaking engagements. So I'll speak to the Chiropractor's Edge. I'll speak to obviously a lot of chiropractors. I was blessed to speak at Sherman College of Chiropractic's 50th anniversary at their Lyceum last year. I just spoke to a group of dentists about marketing and team building, and I do the other group is called the Abundant Mind. So I have another podcast where I literally dive into the mind. I dive into the mind of high level entrepreneurs, and so I get to speak to more high level in companies. I've spoken to 1,200. I've spoken to 12. So that's a huge way to create credibility for me, and that's actually one of the ways that I do some one-to-one coaching as well. And inevitably, every time I do an event, I get flooded with, "Hey, would I be? I want you to be my coach." Now, I do a lot of triage coaching, meaning or triage consulting, where I'll say, "You know what? Yes, you need a coach, but it's not me. It's going to be, this person over here or this group over here." So I've created relational capital with other businesses, with other speaking groups, with other, from like Schubel Vision Elite to the with Liam Schubel to the Black Diamond Club with Sean Lacey Book to Danny Knowles at, here at Mile High Chiropractic here in Colorado to Close for Chiro. I mean, I have several different groups that coach or have systems, and I refer. I'll say, listen, you need a system, and I think this is the system you need based off of what you shared with me. Or in some cases, yeah, I think we would be a great fit. So a lot of my speaking engagements, it fulfills me. I love giving. I love to be able to give back. I love it. It's another way to create income. One of the funnest things I do, though, is I get to bring one of my kids with me whenever I go to travel. So on one of my most recent events, I took my son with me. He got to rub shoulders with billionaires, decamillionaires, centimillionaires, very wealthy people, down-to-earth, incredible people. And then we went to Disney World for 4 days afterwards, and we had a ball. And the whole time I got to pick his brain on what he loved and what his insight was. So it's another platform that really fulfills me. It builds it builds the other side of my business, and then it helps me find individual people that I can help through individual coaching as well.
And it's a great way for that work-life balance, so to speak.
The
elusive work-life balance, and where does that come into play, especially for busy healthcare entrepreneurs? Like, it is such an elusive situation. So that's a great explanation there, where you add that in, bring a kid, and have a great time outside of work, so to speak, but at the same time. Brilliant. Really, really cool.
I'll tell you, if I may, my son for his 16th birthday, he said, "Dad, before my 16th birthday, I want to start my first business." And I said, "Great, let's get this figured out." So we, for his birthday, he kept asking, he's like, "Okay, well, what about Dave Meltzer? Or hey, what about Gary V? Or what about so-and-so? What about so-and-so? What about Damon John?" Like, he started asking all these questions, and he goes, "How do you think he did this?" I was able through my personal connections and through the connections of the partners I have relational capital with, I got 20 people, 20 high net worth individuals that are giving him either 5-minute to 30-minute phone calls for his birthday, that literally are calling, and he's got a series of questions he's going to ask them, and they're going to answer his questions, and he is over the moon, through the roof, pumped for that. But why? Proximity. When we're together, I get to share what lights me up. And each of my kids are, just like anyone's kids, are completely different. He definitely has more of an entrepreneur mindset. He's not going to go to college. That's not in his blood. It's not in his DNA. And so, hang on. I think I lost my mic here. Can you hear me still?
Yep, no problem.
We were just talking about technical issues, right? And being able
we were. Life. It is what it is.
Oh, hang on here. There we go. But anyway, apologize.
That's okay.
But absolutely, proximity is one of the keys to success, especially with your kids, especially with your family, and especially with yourself. I always tell docs, especially those that I coach and that I'm with, who are you surrounding yourself with, right? You need to surround yourself with people who are like-minded, who want to push you. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're probably in the wrong room, man. You got to push yourself. There's absolutely times to heal, rest, rejuvenate, relax. But why not do that with other people? 4 years ago today, we were in Puerto Rico for the Berkshires event with Scott Garber. In about a month, we're going to be in Mexico City with some of the most successful doctors in chiropractic. Right? I'm going to go down there. I'm going to learn, and I'm also going to rejuvenate. Right? And bring a family member. So that allows you to be able to achieve what you want to achieve greater levels of success, and have that true work-life balance. And it's an incredible experience, man. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I love that, you can combine the two. That's something in my life that I probably haven't done the best job at, is combining those two. If I typically go on a seminar or something along those lines, I'll be going on my own and things like that. So that's a good lesson. Thank you.
Yeah,
And you give back too. Giving back to the profession is not only the profession, but whatever you choose to. Giving back in some way is really, really important. You're a member, vice chair of the IFCO, which is a chiropractic foundation. But tell us a little bit about why you do that.
I have firmly found that as a chiropractor, if you're afraid of sales, if you're afraid of being sold to, guess what you suck at? Sales, right? I find with my team that whatever they're most concerned with, the patient's going to be concerned with. And so I firmly believe in giving back. I firmly believe that if you cannot move forward if you can't give back. What you put out into this world is exactly what you're going to give back. One of my dear friends, Dave Meltzer, he teaches, I want to give someone $100, and if I get $20 back, hey, great. But I know that's going to have ripple effects. It's going to bless my life. I want to put the give before the get. And that's what I found in my life is being able to put the give before the get is fulfilling. It allows me to be able to help pave the way for other people. I've paid a lot of taxes mentally and physically, financially, and I would prefer that people don't have to pay those taxes if I could give back to them. But that also shows there's a fine line of giving back too, where when I first started my practice, Scott, I think you and I spoke about this maybe a year ago. When I first started my practice, I gave all my care away for free because I didn't understand business. I didn't understand the value and how money really works. I didn't understand that. I understand that now, and we get paid very, very well, and we are so blessed to do what we get to do. And because of that, I can give back at a greater level financially. I can give back with my time. Being the vice chair of the IFCO is a huge blessing. To be able to see chiropractic be practiced in Brazil, to see chiropractic be able to practice in Europe. Our chairman right now, he is incredible, and he's opened up a chiropractic college in Europe, and he's teaching chiropractic at its purest form, and he's giving back out of the abundance he has. That's the other thing. You can't give out of the abundance you don't have. So you need to be sure you are successful in your business to create time so you can do all the other things that matter most to you in your life. It's super fulfilling, and there's 1,000 things you could give back to. Give back to what lights you up. Give back to what fulfills you. But be sure it's something that is personal, that will light you up and drive you and push you forward. And that makes a difference at the end of the day. At the end of the day, when we have a board meeting, anywhere from a 2-hour to a 12-hour board meeting, everyone, yes, we went in there and we did business, but we are truly making a difference. That's what lights me up. We don't get paid for it, but this is something that I would pay to do because it's for chiropractic. It's blessing the lives of doctors and chiropractors, giving them freedoms to have chiropractic, to practice chiropractic, and that for our patients as well. So, man, I could go so long about that, but that's super important for me in my life is giving back. It's balance. We believe 10% of everything we give back to God, and 10%, and we give another 10% to chiropractic. So there's organizations all over where I take 10% of my net income and I say, okay, great, I'm going to take this and we're going to put it to the Colorado Chiropractic Association, the Mile High Foundation. We're going to get it to the IFCO, Australian Research Foundation, the Foundation for Vertebral Subluxation, so on and so forth. We've been blessed, and it's interesting. I do far more, Scott, with my 80 than I ever did with my 100%. When I wasn't giving, it's crazy how that math doesn't work, but it does. And it's super fulfilling for me, man. I love it.
The more you have, the more you can give, and money is a magnifier. yeah, if you're a great person, you're going to be greater with a healthy business. I think that's a fantastic place to leave it for today. We will definitely be getting you back on the show. We didn't dive into half of what I thought we were going to, but thank you for providing so much value for our listeners. And did you have any last remarks?
No, hey, again, like I shared, I firmly believe, Doc, in giving back. Healthcare providers, entrepreneurs, I firmly believe in giving back. I give anybody 30 minutes of my time for free. So if anyone would like to reach out to me, my personal cell, we'll put it in a link below, in a chat below. But my personal cell, if you want to write this down, is 80 Jake Hansen. Any questions you have, again, I do a lot of triage. A lot of people ask questions. And I'll say, listen, yeah, you need to dive into Scott's book. You need to dive over here. You need to dive in with this group over here. You need to change this. You need to fire that person. You need to hire that person. A lot of it's questions, but let me know how I can serve you, and I'd be honored to do so.
Fantastic gift, giving back again. So thank you for that. And yeah, reach out to Jake. You can find him on socials. You can check out both of his podcasts. He's got some great stuff going. So check him out. And if you want to take advantage of that, then that is going to be a half hour well spent. So thank you again for being on the show. We will touch base again very soon on another episode of Questioning Authority. Thanks for listening to this episode of Questioning Authority. I hope you enjoyed the show. Stay tuned for the next one coming out soon. This episode has been brought to you by The Authority Co., helping service providers increase authority and revenue. Check out theauthorityco.com for more info.